You've been trying to fix your gut for months. Better food, probiotics, cutting things out, and it still doesn't feel right. What if the things you're doing to help it are the exact reason it never fully heals? A gut that feels off is often not a gut that needs more purging. It is a gut that keeps losing its chance to repair. That pattern is not random, and it does not automatically mean your body is broken. In many people, the real problem is that the gut never gets stable enough to finish the work it is already trying to do. The lining needs time. The immune system needs fewer false alarms. The muscles of the digestive tract need the right rhythm. Your microbes need an environment they can actually live in, not just a new capsule dropped into chaos. So the question is not, what can I take to clean this out? The better question is, what keeps interrupting repair? Because once that loop starts, even healthy-looking choices can keep you stuck. And some of the most common fixes do exactly that. Here's the loop. When the gut gets irritated over and over, the body shifts from smooth digestion into protection mode. The lining becomes more reactive. Movement through the gut can get less coordinated. Fermentation builds where food sits too long. The immune system starts reading normal inputs like they might be problems. Then you feel the result: pressure, bloating, heaviness, urgency, or the opposite. Nothing seems to move well at all. Now the confusing part. Once you feel that, you naturally reach for relief. You try a cleanse drink. You remove more foods. You add probiotics, enzymes, powders. Maybe all at once. Some of those tools can help in the right context. But when the repair environment is still unstable, they often become one more thing your gut has to deal with. That's why people get trapped in a frustrating cycle. The symptom changes, but the terrain does not. This is where most people get misled. They treat the gut like a sink with a clog. Clear the clog. Problem solved. But your gut is not passive plumbing. It is living tissue with a barrier, a rhythm, an immune response, and a microbial community that reacts to stress, timing, irritation, and repetition. So if the lining is still getting provoked, if meals are still arriving before the last one has fully settled, or if your nervous system stays in a constant low-grade threat state, the gut reads that as not safe yet, do not fully relax, do not fully repair, and when that happens, even a healthy choice can land badly. Let that sink in for a second. It is not that you are choosing wrong. It is that the ground underneath every choice is still shaking. So before we talk about what to add, we need to stop interrupting the conditions repair depends on. That is the first real lever. The first lever is simple, but not always easy. Call it the pause window. Protecting the gap your gut needs to repair. Your gut does not repair well when it is being constantly asked to process, react, and adjust with no real pause between inputs. Think about skin that keeps getting rubbed in the same spot. It may not look dramatic, but it never gets a clean chance to settle. The gut can work the same way. If you're grazing all day, sipping calories late into the evening, or bouncing between healthy snacks every time your stomach feels slightly off, you may be keeping the system busy when it really needs a quieter stretch. Not empty in an extreme way, just undisturbed long enough to reset its rhythm. A good starting point is this: aim for clearer space between meals and give yourself a consistent gap between your last meal and bedtime. For many people, that means fewer snack episodes, less random tasting while cooking, and less just a little something after dinner. That does not mean longer is always better. It means calmer is often better. And this works over time, not overnight. In the first day or two, some people notice less heaviness, less chaotic hunger, or a more predictable feeling after meals. Over a week or two, the more meaningful shift is often that the gut feels less jumpy and less easily provoked. If you are pregnant, managing diabetes, recovering from disordered eating, or taking medication that needs food timing, this needs to be adjusted to your context. Now, even when the timing gets better, repair still stalls if the lining keeps getting irritated. That is the second lever. The second lever is the noise load. Lowering the irritation your gut is dealing with while it is still trying to calm down. This is where people often get too aggressive. They cut 10 foods, add 5 supplements, and turn every meal into a chemistry experiment. That usually creates more noise, not more clarity. A better starting point is simpler. For 1 to 2 weeks, make your meals more repeatable, more familiar, and easier on the gut. Fewer ingredient pileups, less alcohol, less late-night treat plus snack plus one more bite eating. If raw salads, huge portions, or very rich meals tend to hit you hard, pull the intensity down for a bit and see what changes. The goal is not to eat a tiny life. It is to reduce friction long enough for the surface of the gut to settle. Many people notice the first shift as less pressure after meals, less random bloating by evening, or fewer moments where the stomach feels irritated for no clear reason. The deeper win usually comes later. Better tolerance, better predictability, less drama. The third lever is quieter, but it matters just as much. Call it the start signal, changing the environment around the meal, not just the meal itself. If every meal happens while you are driving, scrolling, arguing, rushing, or working, the gut keeps getting the message that digestion is happening in a stressed environment. A simple rule helps here. Make the first 5 minutes of a meal slower than the rest of your day. Sit down, put the phone away, eat the first few bites without multitasking. Let the meal begin in a lower noise state. Not perfect, just calmer. This supports repair over time. In the short term, some people notice less tightness, less upper abdominal discomfort, or a more settled feeling after eating. Over a week or two, the bigger change is often that meals stop feeling like small biological arguments. But there's still a catch. Not every gut issue should be handled with self-experimentation, and that matters more than people think. If you have blood in the stool, ongoing vomiting, unexplained weight loss, fever, persistent diarrhea, severe pain, or symptoms that are getting worse instead of more predictable, this is not a reset your routine and hope situation. Get it checked. The same goes if you already have a diagnosed GI condition, recent antibiotic complications, or symptoms that are strong enough to change how you live day to day. Self-support can still matter, but it should not replace real medical evaluation. Your gut is not a dirty container waiting to be scrubbed clean. It is a living surface trying to decide whether conditions are safe enough to repair. That is a very different story. So stop asking only, "What should I add?" Ask, "What keeps interrupting recovery?" That question leads to better choices, fewer random experiments, less panic, more signal. You're not failing at gut health. You may just be creating conditions your body keeps reading as unfinished business. So here is your one question. Which of the three is most likely your weak link right now? The pause window, the noise load, or the start signal? Drop it in the comments, because naming it is the first step to actually changing it. And if you want to go deeper on any one of these, tell me which. That becomes the next video.